Hey guys, what's up? Today I'm going to do a video on my leather jacket. This one is a real McCoy's Buco, I can think how it's pronounced, leather jacket. And I've been looking for leather jackets for a while, and if you've done any research, you've probably heard of real McCoy's. They're out of Japan, and they kind of specialize in reproduction clothing, but amping up the quality kind of a lot, like using stuff that's, for instance, better than the originals. And usually I'm a big fan of flathead, as you've seen from my other videos, but I tried on their version of this jacket. It's called the single rider's jacket, but it's pretty much just like a Buco. The difference is, I'll show you the back in a minute, but this one has like a straight, plain back, and like the yoke is straight, whereas on the flathead, it had kind of like a western yoke, which looks cool to me. It had contrast stitching. It was like khaki stitching. This one is pretty much like a black or like dark gray stitching. And the zippers were on the inside of the sleeve instead of like the outside, like how you see. And they also had 2 handlebar pockets. And that's a really great jacket, and I was able to try it on in Japan, but it was a little bit too tricky of a fit for me. The shoulders were huge, as you'd probably expect, but in like kind of a too huge kind of way, in my opinion. And I like that look. And the torso was super tight, so I was able to try this on Inspiration, and it all worked out well. I've been looking for leather jackets for a while, like I said. The usual suspects: Real McCoy's, Arrow, Himmel, Rainbow Country, those kinds of brands. Especially Japanese brands, because I think those look the nicest. But in every case, there's something wrong with it. Either like I couldn't try it on, or it's too expensive, or in like Arrow's case, I don't know, there's something about this is actually true for like pretty much everything that I see that has like a Japanese and Western counterpart. I don't know why, but I just feel like the Japanese counterpart just does the proportions, the stitching and pockets and everything just right somehow. It's hard for me to explain why, but I just feel like the look is better. And so yeah, we can get into this jacket. Uses Shinki horsehide from the Shinki tannery in Japan. Shinki gets flack for not having like any character, I guess, because they say that, oh, the Japanese, they love, like, I guess you could just categorize every Japanese person as the same person. They say, oh, they love like super smooth pressed hides, no character at all. No character, unlike that front quarter horsehide stuff from Arrow. I never really got that, because to me, Arrow's front quarter horsehide is like literally no character. It looks like not even leather. It just looks like really thick leather plastic or something. Anyway, but this looks awesome. Like, if you've seen this jacket worn in on blogs and stuff, and there really aren't that many, I guess, because it's so expensive and just wearing really hard. But yeah, I'll show you what's up. So it's kind of, I hope you can see the character of the grain. It's definitely not, that grainy, but I feel like it's definitely looks like leather. It's definitely leather to me, and I wouldn't say that it was not grainy. I mean, the thing is, you can get a leather jacket that has like a shitload of grain on it, but in my opinion, you should just get a leather jacket with nice leather that has some grain on it, and then if you wear it, the grain will come out and it'll develop in a way that's, in my opinion, a lot more authentic and better than just getting some crazy looking jacket because the leather is so insane, and then, never really wearing it. Or I don't know, I'm gonna enjoy seeing this actually change, because I think it has a lot of potential to change. So we can take a look at the sleeve, get it in the sun. I'm sorry, I can't really see if this is coming out well at all. But, the leather feels great. It smells really awesome. You can see the little pebble things. And, let's see. And if you look at the back, actually, something's interesting on this particular jacket. You see the back leather is a lot different than the front leather. The back has a lot more wrinkles and stuff like that, so maybe when people say, oh, Shinki has no character, they say it's this, which I still don't agree with. But in reality, it's this too. So, it really depends on the jacket you're getting. I've had experience with 2 of these jackets, and it's kind of crazy, honestly, how different they are. So, unfortunately, it's really best to buy this in person, because the fit and the leather and the finishing can be completely different. And even though Real McCoy's is a great company, every company has problems. So, really, you're really suited to go to Japan to get one of these jackets, and that's unfortunate. But things I really like about it are pockets, super clean. I love the tight stitching on the pockets. There's no wonkiness at all. You can see the pockets are the exact same level. There's just literally not really any error, I think, in any way. And that's something that really annoys me, and that's why I spend big money on stuff, is because if you spend big money on a good company, you get really great leather jackets, and there's something wrong with it, they'll fix it. This one is T-core, and that means that if you it's black right now, obviously, but if you wear it a bunch on some parts, like let's say the elbow seam, not the actual whole elbow, and it seems like near the zippers and stuff, it gets like brown. So you can see that this is the color that it'll turn under. And I really like this color, and I think I like this color even more than vintage jackets, because if you look at vintage jackets that are T-core, I guess it used to save money, and that's why they did it originally, and now it's just kind of like a precedent that old jackets look like that. And so even really expensive jackets like this use T-core, even though it's not as expensive, just for the look, which I like better. If you look at the leather there, the leather's almost like white, because I guess it hasn't been tanned other than black, and the black is coming off, but on a forum, I guess, it looks as though this one was dyed brown and then dyed black again. And in my opinion, that gives a really rich brown color under it, and that's really nice. And you can see this rich brown color already coming out of it, because when they're making the jacket, obviously they need to, you know, sew it and stuff like that, so it gets a little mixed. So you can see this is what it looks like. So you can see the brown kind of chips off a little bit. And another reason I went with the real McCoy's is I've talked to people that have experience with this one and the Himmels and stuff like that, and this jacket apparently is just a bitch to like break in and a bitch to make brown, and that's what I want, because I want to have a leather jacket that will age, but age slowly, so it's not like I don't feel like I'm, you know, deteriorating my jacket every time I wear it. I've mentioned this a crap load of times. I feel kind of bad for Dave Himmel, but one of his jackets was bought by a guy on a forum, and it had like a huge ass armpit brown stain. And to be fair to Himmel, that jacket had the owner of that jacket was a student and wore a backpack all the time with nylon straps probably, and I think that could have contributed to it. But I was a little bit scared to spend $2,000 on a jacket and only in 10 months have it look like that, so I'm really happy I went with the real McCoy's. And I think that if the sizing works for you, there's really not a better option at all. And Arrow, and if the sizing doesn't work for you, Arrow has some new horsehide they're using from like an Italian tannery, and that looks really awesome. And they've modified their Buco pattern to pretty much just look like this. And I would probably get that one if I couldn't get the real McCoy's, honestly, because of the price and the stitching and the leather. But yeah, it's an awesome jacket. Oh, another thing, Shinky is, I don't know, there's a whole top grain, full grain scandal, if you care enough and want to call it that. And basically the idea is top grain is like not as nice as full grain, because full grain is uncorrected, and if you're paying $1,500 for a jacket, you should get full grain, all that good stuff. And I totally agree with you, and I'm the one that brought that up on some forums. But I can say after buying this jacket, I don't really think about that very much, and I think it's an amazing leather. And from the people that own Shink, I don't know, it's hard to contact these people, obviously because they're Japanese, and I haven't tried, but from my understanding is it's quote-unquote uncorrected top grain horsehide, and that makes zero sense to me, because by definition top grain is corrected. And they specifically source out horses from Poland, because there's fewer, like, they have, I guess, more space to roam, and there's fewer, like, fences, so they get fewer scratches. And it seems to me that if you're going to go to the extent to buy leather from, like, freaking Poland or something, or, you know, Northern Europe in general, because you want it to be, like, you know, not have any imperfections, it doesn't make sense to me to pay that kind of money for the leather, which is obviously be more expensive, and then correct it, because then why would you be getting the leather that didn't need to be corrected if you're just going to correct it? If anything, you should be getting really shitty leather and correcting it, which is what usually people do. So I think that this is uncorrected leather, and I think that it's the equivalent of full grain, and I think that maybe that terminology is confusing and people don't use it very much, so things become muddled up, and misinformation gets spread by people that have ulterior motives. Bill Kelso. Anyway, this is an awesome jacket. It fits really good. It's a 38, and I'm usually a medium in the clothing, in like, you know, Japanese clothing, and I consider myself a true medium. I'm like 5'9", 180 pounds, a little heavier than I am usually, and it still fits, so it should be good. Yeah. Oh, also other things. What I really like about brands like Real McCoy's is they kind of go all out all the way. I like lifestyle brands where you can just get everything that's meant for the brand, and everything is really good. So you can look at this hanger. Maybe I'll take it off, but if you look at the hanger is incredibly thick. I gotta take this off. You can look at this hanger, and it's very, very thick and very wide, and that's because when you're hanging cotton things that are really light, it doesn't really matter, but when you're hanging leather that's heavy and prone to warping, depending on how you wear it and or where you're putting pressure on it, it can stretch a little bit. You don't want to have a thin wire hanger, because you're going to get like like a wire indentation in the leather. Whereas with this one, you can see how broad it is. It distributes the weight evenly, and because of that, your jacket should last longer. And I think, you know, because it's wood, it probably helps fight against bugs and all that stuff. So I'm really happy with this hanger. It's real. I think it's cool to have. If you have a Real McCoy jacket, get like a Real McCoy's hanger. I don't know. That's me though. Also, I have horse oil from them, I like this too. It's recommended for their smooth leather, and so you know that you don't have to worry about it. This is literally made for this leather, so it's not like you need to worry about Mustang paste or open-offs, like hydrating the shit out of your leather and just all that stuff. Like, just take this, buy this, use it. If you wear your jacket like all the time and you think it's getting dry, like no more often than I guess every 6 months is what they recommend. And I probably wouldn't even do it every 6 months, because if you oil your leather and all that stuff all the time, you kind of lose, in my opinion, the natural characteristics of it. And if you oil any leather, it's going to change and become, like, you know, dark brown. But only really nice, high-quality leather can get by with little oiling and develop nice characteristics. So I would say don't oil your jacket unless, you know, it feels really dry, or let's say it got in the rain or stuff like that. But definitely do more research than me, because I actually oiled my jacket once already, just in the beginning. And I think it made a little bit of difference. It was a little bit dry when I got it. Horse oil. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, I'd be happy to answer. I do a lot of research on everything before I buy it. I've been looking for these jackets for like a year or 2 years, and I'm happy that I did all that research, and I think it turned out really well. Oh, I guess later. Let me. It's kind of hard to. I'm put on the ground. Okay, and then maybe you can see the back. Yeah, that's the back. It's pretty crappy. I'm sorry. But you can see really super clean stitching everywhere. It's black. It looks like a different color, but I swear that it's like a dark gray black. And then you can see all the grain on the back of the leather. I mean, I don't understand if people say Shinky doesn't have any character, is flat or boring. I don't get it at all, to be honest. And this hasn't even been worn that much because I live in California. It's super hot, so if anything interesting happens, I'll definitely update. And you can see, let's leave it with the reproduction Buco tag. Real McCoy's bought the rights for that, so they own it, and it's nice that they're respecting it and remaking it in the highest quality possible. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. Have a good day.